Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 6th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. We got British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. Check it out. We're getting a bit of a break here from some of the systems, but we're left in the chilly air mass here across the region. But if you look out across the Gulf of Alaska, we got a pattern change incoming here as we go towards the end of the week and on in through the weekend. Warmer temperatures, but we're going to have some vigorous frontal systems that are going to take aim at the Pacific Northwest. We'll dive into those details as we go through the video this morning, taking a look across BC and Western Washington. We got a lot of 20s out there, some teens for Eastern Washington, even some single digits there. Black ice, be careful for that. That's, it's a big threat out there on the roadways. It's hard to see. And you can see we got the 30s all the way down into some of the Oregon coastline. Look at the 20s into the Willamette Valley, and much chillier here as you go east of the Cascades into Oregon. Talking about Idaho, Montana, Wyoming also. And you can see the freeze warning that Medford National Weather Service has put out there. Watch out for your sensitive plants, any pets being left outdoors. You guys know the drill. Good at Seattle, 5 straight days to start off March with below average temperatures. It felt kind of nice, though, in the sun yesterday at 45 degrees. And the big story again, Seattle picking up 0.3 of an inch of snow, kind of rare during El Nino years. And if we go all the way back towards 1980, we've had 6 years without, or 6 seasons, I should say, without snowfall. They were all El Nino years. So getting that 0.3 of an inch, especially during a strong El Nino, a little bit of a nice little accomplishment there for Mother Nature. You can see in some of the weaker El Ninos, you can get some of that snowfall, but virtually every single neutral or La Nina year since 1980 has gotten some kind of measurable snow, and all 6 were El Nino years that did not snow at SeaTac, Washington. Kind of interesting stats there. Now, looking at the European, we're right about here. We are on the downward decline here, and the atmosphere is already responding and not really reflecting that we were in an El Nino right now. You can clearly see us going towards neutral and La Nina conditions as we go through the summer and fall upcoming here. So good bet we're going to be in La Nina by the time we get towards next winter. And this is looking at the global view of things here. It's the Pacific Ocean. You can still see the above average temperatures here across some of the Pacific Ocean. So that's valid March 2024. This is the European. We put that into motion. You can see by the time we go to April, you can see the upwelling occurring off the coast of South America. That's starting that cooler tongue there. There's May, June, July. As you can see, we're clearly headed towards this La Nina. All models are in agreement that we are going to be in La Nina by the time we go toward the winter months. Now, look at this. National Weather Service Pendleton. There was a land spout, probably a couple of them out there yesterday, kind of on a little bit of a differential heating boundary there. Most likely, you can see the vorticity along that boundary kind of rising up, stretched into the vertical there along this boundary. Kind of interesting stuff. Little mini land spouts out there yesterday. And a closer look at it here, you can clearly see the well-developed tube from the cloud base all the way down to the ground. I'm sure the dust devils out there are probably stronger than this thing, but it's kind of interesting. You can kind of see the vorticity along that boundary trying to be stretched up into the cloud base. And this occurred right south of Milton Freewater there. There's the Washington-Oregon border. There's the Tri-Cities here, and you can see Yakima up to the left. So right about there. And if I back this up, let's go all the way back to yesterday about 11 o'clock. You can kind of see these little showers popping up here. It doesn't look like much on the satellite imagery, right? And so, yeah, that's what you're dealing with there. That's pretty difficult to forecast for that. And if we scroll through the day, you can kind of see the pop-up showers around the rest of the area there. I wouldn't have been surprised to hear that there were other land spouts out there across the region there yesterday also. Maybe that we'll get a picture of that eventually at some point. But yeah, interesting stuff there. Land spout tornado out there yesterday. And you can see these are non-supercell tornadoes. And if you want, you can pause and read all this information here. They can produce even some strong damage at times. They're more popular across some of the high plains out there in Tornado Alley. Now, looking at what's coming up here, we got cold and dry versus warm and wet, and this is coming Friday, Sunday. The National Weather Service Spokane, as always, is on top of things here with the pattern change coming up. You can see the highs into the 40s and the lower 50s there. And, of course, there's going to be some snow possible across some of the higher terrain. We're going to be diving into those details a little bit more tomorrow, but we will look at those systems here in a moment. And check it out for National Weather Service Portland. They redesigned all their zones out there. So these do a good job identifying the terrain features and whatnot. And I may go over this at some point, but if you want, you can look it up. Portland National Weather Service new zones. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station to watch the weather at your house, updates every 3 seconds, this is what the smartphone app looks like. Highly recommended. Click on that link down below to save 10%. Now, looking at the European versus the GFS, you can see this cold upper level low with us all the way on through the day today, finally kicking out. We know there's a little bit of a ridge in here as we start to develop these systems back into the Pacific Northwest. The first one's probably going to be decaying as it comes in on the day Saturday, but then we've got more vigorous systems taking aim at us here as well as we go through the weekend, then on in through early next week. week. So that's what we're going to be watching here. We're definitely going to switch things up, and those overnight chilly lows are going to be a distant past for the lower elevations. Now, looking at 6-hour precipitation type. So here we go. We're scrolling through. We're now into Thursday afternoon. You can see the precipitation starting here as we go through the day tomorrow for some of British Columbia and Vancouver Island tomorrow night. Then we go on in through Friday, and this week's system is going to be falling apart as it reaches the coastline here. You can see for Western Oregon, Washington, probably bringing a little bit of precip, but the stronger storms probably arriving here some point at Saturday night. And you can see this stronger frontal system here. It's got a pretty decent pressure gradient with it on both the GFS and the European, so that's definitely going to be a stronger system there. And then another strong system showing up on the GFS and the European, different timings there, but you can definitely see we're going to remain active here as we go on in through next week once these systems start moving through. And this is looking at 5,000 feet. If I put this into motion, you can see this chilly air hanging out all the way kind of on in through Thursday, but then the pattern chain comes as we start to bring in this southwest warmer flow out ahead of these next systems that'll be rolling in here. You can see these mid-latitude cyclones spinning across the Gulf of Alaska. And this is also going to bring a bump in the wave heights. So if you're out there right now, the wave heights are probably pretty benign and pretty unspectacular right now on the coast, but that is going to be changing here as we go through the week and on in towards the weekend. You'll clearly see by the time we get towards Saturday morning, the wave action increasing, and by the time you get towards Saturday night and Sunday, we're going to have some big waves returning to BC, Washington, Oregon, all the way down through California. So heads up for that if you're headed out towards the coast here. I mean, look on the day Sunday, some big action out there. So don't turn your back on the ocean. Be aware of that incoming. Now, this is looking at the National Weather models. This is Thursday morning. Again, tomorrow morning is going to be pretty chilly. Look at the 20s in the Willamette Valley. It could be freezing all the way out to the coastal areas here. And of course, once you get east of the mountains, quite cold as well. And as we go towards Friday, we do get some moderation here, but still, kind of below average or below freezing, I should say, across some of the Willamette Valley. But by the time we go towards Saturday, those systems are going to be starting to roll in here. We definitely modify things in some of the lower elevations, especially west of the Cascades, and there's Sunday, and we're back to normal as we go towards the weekend. This is Seattle, Tacoma. You can see the chilly overnight lows probably through Friday. Then we definitely start to warm things up. So you got to watch out for the black ice tomorrow morning and Friday morning and this morning right now. If you're watching this before you head out, watch out. It's pretty chilly out there this morning. Looking at Seattle, Tacoma, the extended forecast, you can kind of see the warm up we're expecting as we go towards mid-month here coming up. I mean, we are going into springtime here, so we can start expecting that. We can see these chilly temperatures there. This is an extended forecast from the European that goes out 46 days. So you take it with a grain of salt. But you can kind of see us changing on into the spring season here. Now, this is something interesting. This is the European. This is actually an artificial intelligence. They're using it with their model now. I'm going to look into this more so I can explain it better, but I just wanted to kind of show this here because now every single run, this is the 06Z, which only goes usually out 90 hours or 144 with the ensemble. But if we put this into motion, you can see it's got 360 hours of data in here. So I look forward to seeing what kind of information this brings us and how this performs against the GFS. But you can see the strong systems it's throwing here at the Pacific Northwest. And then as we go through the extended, you can kind of see that ridge building here as we start to go out towards the mid portion of March. That would be quite nice. We get a few nice days out of that. Hopefully it's not a foggy regime. But yeah, interesting stuff. So yeah, European artificial intelligence model runs, they are here and they are now available to the public. So that's going to be interesting to watch that. And looking at the snow water equivalent, we definitely improved, but not doing still too hot across Washington and British Columbia. Much better across portions of Oregon here, and Idaho and Montana, something similar there as well. At least we got some beneficial snows out of this last trough. But anyway, yeah, heading off to work early today, so I had to kick out these videos a little bit early. But yeah, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.